Please go ahead. I've started with the recording and I'm going on mute.
Okay, blessing. Thank you everyone for taking some time of coming and listening to the latest from Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Now we all know about breath, and we've been doing it since we were born. It's so easy, and what happens is it usually happens in automatic. Automatic means it's a process that carries on without your knowledge. One of the fundamentals of that, and we call this pranayam. Pranayam, the first part of prana, is the life force. This is the life force of oxygen and all the other materials that you're breathing in. And then we have yama, which is the control of that event, the control of breath. But we tend not to control our breath. We allow it to operate in automatic. Most yogis always control their breath. One of the benefits of this is that it will change the whole of your autoimmune system when you start controlling your breath. So what I'm going to start with you today are just some basic exercises. These are basic exercises that yogis have carried out for thousands of years. And they've only been recently translated again, so we can see what these techniques are and what they do. So I'll start with an innocent one. Is first of all is I'll give you an element of how to go to sleep. One of the things about going to sleep with breath is that if you find it difficult to go to sleep, what we tend to do is we go to sleep. So I'm telling you, go to sleep, going to lie in your best position for sleep, and then start breathing in and out gently. Now, what happens with that, the process is that while your attention is on your breath, your mind cannot activate. So therefore, if you're using breath to sleep, you'll fall asleep within 5-6 minutes. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going on to the different techniques of how we use our breath. So one of the first techniques we use is, rather than just allowing the breath to come in through the mouth, what I'm going to show you now is the first technique, which is a very innocent one, and it's holding your hand in front of your face, so. And then all I'm going to ask you to do, and you can do this as I do it, is I'm going to ask you to breathe from your hand instead of just breathing in and out. So your attention is on your hand, and I'm going to ask you to breathe in gently. Extend the diaphragm so that your stomach comes out, and then back out again. But when the breath comes back out to the hand. This has been used by yogis for thousands of years, and it's a way of extending your consciousness out of your body. So let's try it once. So we're going to breathe in from the hand. So let's breathe in. You can feel it going down your throat into your lungs. Then you're going to push it so that your stomach extends. Hold it for a second, and then release it back out to the hand. So what you can do as a practice, you can practice this 2 or 3 times, just keep, so that you get used to the breath coming from the hand. So these are all simple techniques. I'll give you another simple technique now is you can close your eyes, and then what I'm going to ask you to do is breathe in gently, but halt the breath halfway. So you're breathing in, and then you halt the breath, you've got your eyes closed, and just, because you've halted the breath, just feel the silence within you. Now you may hear other things. For example, if you've got tinnitus, you're going to hear the tinnitus. But if you can feel it, you can feel the silence within when you hold that breath. And you can do it on the out breath when you breathe out, breathing out gently, and then halt it halfway, close your eyes. And you feel the silence. These techniques are like kindergarten techniques to show you how to build up your breathing and how this breathing will change the whole of your body. So what we're also going to look at now is we're going to look at some other techniques. Now, one of the things that I've not shown you is you have a sixth sense. And that sixth sense is your attention. Now, for every individual on this planet, your attention is usually focused through your eyes, because every time you look at something, your attention is on what you're looking at. But your attention can be trained, as your breath can be trained, to do other things rather than look through the eyes. So some of these techniques, because I've not taught you the attention technique, you're going to have to wait for the next course for that. So what I'm looking at doing now is we're going to show you, for example, breathing in now. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in, we're going to close our eyes, we're going to breathe in gently, we're going to extend the stomach, and we're going to hold it for maybe 5-10 seconds. So we're going to breathe in, hold, and breathe out. So on each revolution of this, what you're doing is you're feeling for the silence, because everything in yoga is about silence. If you've got extraneous noises around you, if you're trying to do this, then shut the noises off. You want that basic silence within you. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try a couple of techniques now. So one of the techniques is where I've already shown you, we're going from the hand, and then we're gently breathing in from the hand, extending, and then releasing back to the hand. Then on subsequent times, once you get used to this breathing from the hand, and you can really feel you're breathing in from the hand and back out to the hand, then what I would like you to do is pick an object, maybe a meter away or a couple of meters away, and start breathing in from the object, and then breathing out back to the object. And what we're doing is I'm training your attention to do something it's never done before. So you're breathing in from an object, out to an object. Now, one of the benefits of this is that, for example, if you like nature, breathing in from say a flower or something close to you, it's quite amazing for you to do that rather than just a static object. So a flower or something in nature. So what happens with yogis is this is the basic training that yogis use for extending their consciousness. And that consciousness, once you start going from hand, then to a couple of meters away, you can then start looking in the distance and start, maybe you've got a tree in the distance. You can then start using your breath, breathe in from the tree, slowly, then stop the breath, hold it for a while, release it back out to the tree. As you continue to gain experience with this, then you find something that's a little bit further, maybe something on the horizon. And then try breathing in from the object in the horizon, back, and then back out to the horizon. Now, what the formal training of this, I mean, it may take you maybe a couple of weeks just to get used to this. Yogis used to do this quite regular. And what happened was with them is that then started looking at, oh, well, can I breathe in from the moon? So you then use your attention on the moon and actually breathe in from the moon and back out to the moon. And then likewise, you can actually breathe in from the sun. Breathe in from the sun, breathe back out to the sun. And this is a really interesting way of expanding your consciousness that's actually stipulated in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So why don't we use it? You know? One of the affection of then is that once you've actually studied breathing in from the sun, you can then breathe out and in from the whole universe. And that means that it's expanding your consciousness everywhere. which is where you should be everywhere. So let's look at a couple more techniques now. We'll look at some of the breathing techniques. So when you're breathing in from your hand, is to feel that breath coming in, down through the throat into the lungs, and then expanding the stomach, and then hold it, and then you breathe it out again. So you can do this a couple of times, and then what we're going to try and do then is we're going to see if we've got enough attention there to breathe the air in from the hand slowly, slowly, down into the lower stomach, and as the stomach arises, use your attention to push the breath to the tips of your toe. So it's your attention saying, okay, it's the breath is in my lower stomach now, and I'm using my attention to push the oxygen to my feet, and then gradually release the whole thing again, and then back out to the hand. So you can do this then with all the different stages and distances. Now, when you get used to it, what's going to start happening is that rather than allowing your breath to be an automatic every day, you start perceiving that once you start breathing yourself, your life changes, because you're constantly breathing in and out yourself. You're not allowing that automation to go on. That automation will just use the basic amounts of oxygen, whatever, that the body requires. But if you're controlling it, it's far better. So there are many aspects to breathing, and these techniques, it's so sad that they've never been released before. And yet these breathing techniques, they're nearly as good as a meditation, because it brings you to that silent point within your body that you've never had before. And the amount of that when you're putting the prana in, you're holding it. I mean, I would suggest you don't hold it for more than a minute or a minute and a half. You don't want to create any stress in your body whilst you're doing it. So it's an innocent in breath, hold, and then out breath. But as long as you're using your hand and go through the stages of hand, something in distance 2 meters away, looking at a plant or a flower or a tree that's really nice to look at. You're looking at nature, so it's easier to breathe in with that nature environment. So now one of the aspects I want to also look at is that a yogi will do this 24/7. And once the breath started to activate, and you can feel that silence coming in, and you start realizing that your attention is starting to be involved, then your life will change completely. So what I'd like to do now, I'd like to end this session now. And one of the things that I'm looking at is that I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a kindergarten on attention, how to use your attention, what the benefits are, and as more people join, what we're looking at is that I can then take you on to how to become enlightened. And there may be maybe half a dozen folks on the planet that are really enlightened these days. A lot of people saying they can do this, 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 but we need the truth. We need the truth about human evolution, how we can do it. It's great being a yogi, because you have that ability to get an answer for something where you don't have to look at a book for the answer. It's within that beautiful silence. So I would like to end here now, and look forward to meeting you guys all again. And it's blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you.